Hello and welcome to Freaky Fandoms. This is Andrew, and with me as always is Deborah.
Hi!
Goofy shit.
I know.
Hey everyone, we are back with another episode, and today we are doing a video game episode.
Yes, and I'm really excited about this one because I've been completely fucking obsessed with it since it came out, which was like a month and a half ago. Shut up!
Don't stress out now that you're talking about being obsessed with fucking Blasphemous.
Oh no, it's been like obsessed. Like I've been having like notebooks and colored pencils to create maps and like how I'm gonna do it. It's been like that conspiracy theorist who gets the fucking yarn to I've been like that obsessed with this game.
Yeah, so folks, just for context, Deborah is the kind of obsessive video game fan that when a game really connects with her, she goes all in. And if you've listened to her talk about Alice, you know exactly where she's coming from with this kind of stuff.
Another one which we haven't talked about is like I'm a huge Bloodborne fan.
Yeah, you're hardcore.
So maybe spoilers, but there's no actual physical map for Bloodborne.
Yet.
I got graph paper and colored pencils and created a map that if you actually follow my map, it connects every single world perfectly. So I have created a legitimate map for a game that doesn't have a map.
Well, hopefully the Bloodborne team will dive deep into developing more good shit because we need it. Yeah. Because Bloodborne fucking rocks.
Yeah, it's great. But that's not what we're talking about today, though.
What are we talking about? We're talking about Blasphemous.
We're talking about Blasphemous.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So Blasphemous was actually a Kickstarter game that they did. They did a Kickstarter for it. I want to say in
2015?
No,
15, 16?
It was 2016, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And it's from Gamer Kitchen.
Yeah, Game Kitchen out of Spain.
Yeah, and they were kind of silent for a really long time. Like, it got funded almost instantly. And then it just kind of went dead. You didn't really hear too much news about them. And then it started picking up again, and all of a sudden it just fucking... It picked up because it came out. Yeah,
well, let me add to that. Full disclosure, folks, I was one of the backers to get the game made because when we saw the initial game pitch and treatment material...
We had to have it.
Yeah, it looked absolutely fantastic. So we dove in to get the support package with a copy of the game on Steam, with the soundtrack, with the art book, with the... prequel comic talking about the protagonist and a little bit of the event that took place in the game. But when they went dark, they only went dark to the level of the public.
Yeah.
They continually worked and produced new information and material and content for their backer community through Discord.
Because you were getting notifications and emails from them and doing stuff with Discord.
Yeah.
But for the general public, it kind of went away.
Yeah, it went silent. There were occasionally some videos that would come up. There was a little bit of content going through their social feeds. And what was really interesting about it was that the fan base that initially jumped in at the very beginning, at the inception of the entire project, stayed really involved and really rabid.
Yeah.
And it was a multilingual, worldwide fan base, too, from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which was incredible. And then it just slowly worked its way towards a full release on Steam and PlayStation, and I think the Switch? Did it wind up on Nintendo Switch?
I think
Or was it...
I think it might have wound up in the digital store.
Yeah.
However, Limited Run Games did make a limited run of hard copies for PlayStation 4 and Switch. And we bought both, and they're sold out.
Oh, yeah, they sold out so fucking fast.
We're fucking assholes.
Well, all right. So let's.
Well, the Switch is yours and the PlayStation's mine.
Yeah. The thing is like it. Oh God, it was like around Thanksgiving or something, and it was like 3 in the goddamn morning.
But it's like you get figurines and hard copies of the art book and hard copies of the soundtrack.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, no, we.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Is I was so trashed and worn out on the couch,
and I set up like a whole bunch of reminders.
But you were like in the bedroom and your phone was on silent and, you know, you didn't even let me know that it was happening. So I'm completely like in a dazed haze and I get unlimited run and I buy the bundle for the Switch instead of the PS4. And then I fall back asleep thinking I got the PlayStation one. And then I wake up like 10 hours later and I'm like, fuck!
Deborah's gonna kill me!
I went back and all the PlayStation bundles were sold out fucking instantly, of course. So I was able to get one physical copy for PS4.
Yeah.
Which, it's going to be fantastic to have that shit come in.
Yeah.
And isn't there like a little statuette of the mea culpa? Or
Yes.
the, Yes,
there's a mea culpa.
And the symbol.
And the emblem,
yeah.
Which, I'm sorry, that's getting...
It's very berserk.
That's probably getting tattooed somewhere.
Do it. Fuck
it's
yeah.
Got to.
It's the imagery in this game is so fucking good. The iconography, the mythology, the world building. I mean, I don't even know where to begin.
So we both played it.
Yes.
Individually, but also kind of at the same time. Like we would take turns.
Yeah, one of us would play and the other would watch.
Yeah, or
just fuck around
No,
on
it would
Bubble
be
Witch.
I would. Fuck you. I would play, and while you watched, and then I would stop, and then I would trade over to you and let you play on your own profile and not watch you just in case you got further than me because I didn't want you to fucking ruin this for me.
Oh, like Symphony of the Night?
Symphony of the Night and fuck, what was that game? Death's Gambit.
Yeah, well, okay, so you want to talk about the comparison between this and Death's Gambit because
we were excited for Death's Gambit.
Well, the thing is that Blasphemous got announced, right? And then it went into development after funding. Mm-hmm. And then Adult Swim Games dropped Death's Gambit. But we didn't have Blasphemous yet. So we kind of got into Death's Gambit, and we were like, all right, I'm feeling this.
And it was fucking broken. And
it was broken as shit.
It had, I think, 12 corrupted save files for us?
Yeah, because, God, I cheesed the fuck out of that game. I was, like, farming through so many levels to increase my abilities and, you know, level up and everything.
So we were disappointed.
Yeah, because it would just kill the fucking save file.
And then this came out, and I was really excited, but I was also really hesitant because of what happened with Death's Gambit.
Yeah, you were skeptical. I was too.
And it just completely floored me in all the right ways. Yeah. It's a perfect game. There's no doubt. There's no argument. It is a perfect game.
Frustrations and all, but that's part of it.
It's punishing. This is more punishing than, at least for me, than Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
Yeah, okay.
Like, for me.
I really want to address the elephant in the room that drives me absolutely fucking nuts.
Yes.
All right? It's two things.
What is this game referred to as in gaming culture? What is it? Because
Jesus Christ. You want the quote? Because it makes my fucking brain boil.
What is it?
It's the Dark Souls of Metroidvanias.
Yeah, he hates Metroidvanias, but
the term is really, really simple to me. And whenever someone uses the term Metroidvania in a game review, I immediately deregister and I just turn off. But
honestly, that's what it is.
Well,
that's the genre that it fits into, honestly.
Sure, you can say that games that are side-scrollers, like Castlevania, are based off of a genre that Castlevania partially created.
Yes, and same thing with Metroid. And when you put the two together, you get what is called a Metrovania.
Yeah. But the thing is that when you really break it down, you don't have to name-drop both games. You can say that this is an action side-scroller where you collect items, increase your abilities, and fight bosses until you work your way to the end. It doesn't have to be oversimplified by referencing two games in a compound structure word that makes you sound like an asshole.
Ooh, okay.
No, I'm going there. I'm saying Metroidvania is a 4-letter word to me.
Well, I use it because it's the easiest way to have someone understand what it is.
It's too easy. But that's my opinion, folks. I know it's something that's part of our game language now. My opinion that it's a word I prefer not to use doesn't reflect negatively on anybody who supports it, even though, like I said, if it winds up in a review, I tune out.
All right.
So
let's actually...
all that aside. And calling shit compared to Dark Souls, I'm fucking tired of it. Let's move on. Let's move on from saying every hard game is Dark Souls.
Anyway.
Rant done. Let's talk about the fucking game.
So, spoiler wall, because
yes,
we will get into heavy spoilers. Because, you know, that's just what we do. And also, it's like, I just want to talk about everything about this game. And my pronunciation on Spanish things is atrocious. So you might hear a pause where I'm like, Andrew, can you pronounce this? Because it's bad. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna, I don't mean to offend anyone, but I can't do it.
Yeah. We'll fix that. We'll get you down to Guadalajara and Diablo and
I'd
Catriona
rather go to Berlin.
I mean, you know, Till Lindemann from Rammstein speaks Spanish too. So you have to become cultured.
What about if you take me to Ibiza? That would be fine.
Yeah, I'm down, but it immediately makes me think of Keith, and you know, if we can't go and see Prodigy, but yes, maybe we can go and see.
Anyway, so
some shows in Ibiza.
How do you want to do this? Do you want?
All right.
So Andrew played it, beat it.
Yeah, beat it first.
Yeah, fuck you.
No. Let's be clear. I got the shit ending because I played like crap. Okay. Deborah got the good ending
on the first try
because she fucking killed it. She murdered the game.
And then I played it again.
Yeah. I wanna make a quick point though, really quickly. Folks, if you're listening and you still haven't tuned out because of the spoiler wall, even if we do give you information about the game and spoil certain aspects of it, the gameplay, the fun you're going to have
it doesn't matter what we say to you. It doesn't matter how much we spoil.
We're going to give away some plot points and some boss info.
But there's so much that is so easy to miss and so much that's easy to interpret differently.
It's one of my favorite game worlds.
It is so rich.
Yeah.
And it's 100,000,000% worth playing, regardless of how many reviews you've heard. You gotta play this game. It's fucking genius. I think this might be, gonna go ahead and say this early. This might be, no, it may not be. It is my favorite game of the year. Yeah. It's in my top 3 games of the decade, if not beating Bloodborne.
Yeah.
This might be Bloodborne for me. I love it so much, and that's fucking crazy.
Fuck yeah.
It's absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's one of the best games I've played of the 2010s. I think that the world and the story and the entire plot and narrative and just, you know, the way that the mechanics flow, like, as a game, this is so fucking well developed and well constructed. I really regret, like, I wish we had taken the opportunity to go out to Spain and hung out with the Game Kitchen team.
Because we had the opportunity, but we skipped.
We chose to support the game, but if these guys do anything more, even if it's not related to Bloodborne, because Bloodborne on its own does
Blasphemous.
Well, you know what I mean. Just thinking about going out to Spain and talking to these guys has me completely, flubbed in my brain.
Kerfluffled.
But Blasphemous does not need a continuation. I'm going to get that out early. But if they do want to expand on the world that they created, holy fuck. And if they do provide or give us a chance to go and talk to these guys, I would love to fucking interview them, do articles, ask them if they want to be on the show, any of that stuff. It would be amazing.
Down.
So let's move on.
Yeah, because we're already 15 minutes in and we haven't even talked about the fucking game yet.
We've done a lot of hype. Let's talk about real shit.
Okay, so how are we going to do this? Are you going to ask me? Am I going to ask you? How are we going to do this?
Well, why don't you start off by talking about the premise of Blasphemous?
Okay, so I'm going to fucking butcher this because... basically,
you want to talk about the miracle, or do you want to talk about
let me try. So
you're leading with a failure. So
to me, it seemed it's kind of like Spanish Inquisition time, but there was this. They call it the miracle, but in all actuality, it's a fucking curse. But it's a miracle that was brought on by people thinking they needed to be punished for their sins and for their wrongdoings. Mm-hmm. And so this miracle happened to punish these people, to cleanse them. And it kind of twisted and morphed the entire religious world to where punishment and pain and penance were the only things to do and like the only ways to be religious, and it took over all aspect of everything this entire world of Custodia does.
Yeah.
And with that being said, there's a society called the Brotherhood of the Silent Sorrow, who are these monks who are kind of outcast, and you are part of the society who's been completely annihilated. Everyone's been killed, and it's just you. And you're called the Penitent One, and your job is to go around Custodia, perform the 3 humiliations, and go through the Church of Mother of All Mothers, and kind of bring everything back into perspective and get rid of practically just like saying that like you're going against everything that the miracle represents, while at the same time giving it homage and respecting it and acknowledging it. But it's really weird because you're paying its dues, and then you're also cleansing it. And spoilers, if you get the good ending, what you're doing is you are eventually sacrificing yourself so no one has to be punished and everyone can be pure.
Now, was the event
that's long?
No. It's totally like a solid outline of what the fuck is going on here.
And trust me, that was fucking hard.
Well, the miracle, the event that everyone refers to as the miracle, is, like you said, essentially a curse that turns the world into a, self-harming, penance-filled, cruel, jaded and jilted, almost Catholic kind of...
Oh, this is heavily influenced by Catholicism.
Yeah, extremely. Like Catholicism, medieval era society and culture, and the Inquisition.
Yeah.
With a very strong element of dark art, horror, and adventure.
Like, it's so bad, like
very dark fantasy.
Like, a lot of the people who are considered to be saints or patron saints or anything like that are people who got boiling olive oil and threw it on their face so they wouldn't be more beautiful than the miracle, and sacrificed their beauty by, like, literally burning olive oil on their face.
Yeah, scarred,
and then there's
injured.
There's that woman I love who she didn't want people to be in pain anymore, and the miracle kind of chained her to her bed, and her punishment or her sacrifice is that she's constantly being whipped and abused and forced to feel this pain to kind of cleanse the world, but it's still fucking happening anyway.
Yeah. There's the group of monks that focus on sorrow and tears and cleaning each other's feet. There are different areas of this world where you have ghosts that present themselves in libraries, and people who are boiling in lava, and people who are stuck inside of walls trying to reach out, and
you got
mutated people.
You got babies with blindfolds wrapped around their eyes, bleeding out of their eyes with a crown of thorns on their head, being held by a wicker statue of their dead mother who got burned alive for being a heretic.
Yeah. There's a lot of human sacrifice in the name of religion in this game. There's a lot of self-sacrifice. There's a lot of flogging. There's a lot of self-aphasion, I think is the word, but
flagellation.
Yeah. And it's a really dark, kind of look at the sort of torturous kind of world that was going on during that time. I mean, like, we watched The Devils. And
this totally goes 100% in line with The Devils.
Yeah. Like, if you think that the convent in The Devils expanded out into the rest of the world when they're having the
the yakety sax scene.
Yes, the yakety sax scene. We'll call it that. It's basically if the worst of the Spanish Inquisition and the torture of man took over the entire planet.
Yeah, so really not a good place.
Yeah, no shit.
But like I said, it depends on how you do. Like, if you got the good ending like me, then you kind of sacrifice yourself and you become the martyr and take all that away, kind of like a Jesus figure almost. If you don't, then you just wind up in a pile of ash and nothing changes.
Yeah. You wind up being consumed by the miracle. And the miracle is kind of obscure, where it seems like it's almost like a curse by a vengeful and malicious god.
It disfigures you. It transforms you into trees. It
gives you an eternal life of pain.
Yeah.
Like, even you will die, but you will be transfigured into a form that will live on forever. And you will be given a task like being over a church or a library
or underground
or in some fucking void realm like Our Lady of the Charred Visage, who's basically a floating head that has a fucking layer of gold over her skull.
Yes, there's reasons behind that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's so fucked up. I love it.
It's almost like an eternal damnation, but not by the devil.
But it's what you want. That's the thing. It's like these people aim for it. They worship it. Yeah. And it's the highest honor is to become
a martyr.
Yeah.
Or a pained saint.
It's really sick. And it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's an ultimate blasphemy of religion. But
so we've talked about the story, like in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some of the bosses? Do you want to talk about the levels?
Let's talk about gameplay. How's the game control?
Oh, this is fucking smooth.
Yeah.
All right. This is one of the I have this thing about jumping and grabbing onto ledges. It's one of my favorite things.
Really? Bullshit. Wait. No. Not grabbing onto ledges. I'm thinking of grabbing onto a wall and then jumping off and doing like wall jumping, zigzaggy, Ninja Gaiden shit.
I hate that.
Yeah. But that's in this game.
It is. This is a platformer. Like, you have to know what the fuck to do.
Horizontal, vertical, all the elements of classic Nintendo.
Even there's a part in one of my favorite levels that you were watching, and I'm gonna admit it, I suck at platforming, but I can do it sometimes.
It's timing.
And you were watching me do this one platform in Yondo when I went to go get that special item, and it was like the conveyor belt and all the spikes and everything, and it was super, super long.
Yeah.
And you were like, I couldn't do that. I was like, trust me, I tried it 1,000,000 times.
There's so much trial and error in progressing through these levels.
And if you die, you're fucked.
Yeah. So where's the respawn? Is it at the last
It's usually
save point?
It's all right. Respawn's at the last save point, which is usually at the beginning of the level, and very rarely is there a save point in the middle. It's always at the beginning and the end. So if you die, you're fucked, even if you open up the shortcuts.
All right, let's talk about the length of the levels. What, they're about a half hour each to burn through?
They start off really small, and then they become assholes.
Well, like, let's say you're in the game and you're getting into like the tougher levels. To get through the levels like the ice level, the fire level, the library and ghost level.
Fire level.
Well, yeah, you know when you're going through Our Lady of the Charred Visage and they're dumping the burning oil on you?
Sorry, I gotta use the names.
Well, I'm simplifying it, but what I'm saying is basically it takes about a half an hour to an hour to beat a level.
Typically.
And if you get
Unless
through,
you're like a speedrunner, like really fucking good, then you can breeze through it.
Well,
but I don't find any enjoyment in speedrunning it, which is part of another thing I have. Is I'm also a trophy hunter,
yeah.
And one of the things is to get through the first three humiliations and the Anointed Legion boss in under 3 hours. And I'm just like, how the fuck am I gonna do this?
Well, let's talk about that stuff. But what I'm saying is that you can be playing a level for 45 minutes. Fucking die by falling on some fucking spikes off of a ledge and lose that 45 minutes of progress and have to work your way back to that just to be able to get the item and beat the boss.
And like I said, there are even some levels like later on in the game, like you open up shortcuts and it's still you're fucked.
Oh, but I will say this game does have a saving grace where a lot of the bosses have a save spot right before you go into their room.
All of the bosses have a save spot right before you go into their room. Every single one. Which is, I love that.
Well, that is true because there's even the first one where you have the character that jumps down right after you've spawned into the world before you get any upgrades. Yeah,
the Warden of the Silent Sorrow. You wake up, you go through 2 rooms, and you have a boss fight.
Yeah. That's how this game starts. It lets you know you are going to have challenging fucking boss fights, but here's the trick about it. You beat the game once, and then it clicks. That's what I really love about this game.
All right, so there was this
That's one thing I really appreciate about it.
There's this one boss called the Tres Sangres, or Tres Sangres.
Oh, the 3 sisters?
The 3 anguishes. The 3
sisters. Oh,
sisters.
yeah, the 3 anguishes. Yes.
I fucking hate them. I mean, they're gorgeous. I love the whole idea. Yeah. But I will begrudgingly admit that the first time I played it, I tried beating them 25 times.
Oh, God.
And then started crying and made Andrew beat them for me. After that, on my second playthrough, I beat them on my first try without even fucking healing.
Yeah, you beat the fucking bricks off of them after you, because the thing is,
and it was the shortest fucking fight I've ever had. It was even shorter than the fucking first boss.
Yeah,
and yeah, I just wiped it up with those bitches.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk about 2 things real fast. I want to say that there is no specific order that you have to beat the bosses in.
No, this is a complete open world platformer. You have
many directions that you can go, and I think once you get into the main part of the world where you go to beat the 3 anguishes or the 3
the 3 anguishes.
Well, no, not the bosses, but you have to complete
the 3 humiliations.
Yes, so you have 4 directions that you can go in.
Yeah.
And you beat the 3 humiliations, and then you go to the next web of the map.
Yeah.
And then you work your way towards the final boss.
Well, you have to do the 3 humiliations, and you can do them in any order.
Yeah, you can
and then
save the 3 anguishes for the last.
You have to beat the Anointed Legion Like, you have
That's
to.
right.
And then
Yes.
after you beat him, then you can go in 3 other different directions.
Yeah,
to beat the other
to work
3.
your way towards the Archbishop?
No, the Archbishop's one of the second 3.
I'm thinking of the final boss.
His Holiness Escobar and the Son of the Miracle.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you have to
That's
go
right.
through the final 3, and then you have to go to Crescenda, who is another anointed legion, go through her, and then get to Escobar and the Miracle, Son of the Miracle.
So let's save on talking about the bosses individually. I want to talk about the Let's Players and reviewers real quick, to kind of just throw that out there a little bit, because there's been a group of people that have been working their asses off to beat the shit out of this game on YouTube and Twitch right now.
I've seen people beat this game in under half an hour, and it really upsets me.
It takes the fun completely out of the fucking game.
Yeah, you're not having fun with it. You're making it a chore,
Yeah.
and you're missing such a rich, convoluted, like, story that these people put their heart and effort into, because they had a fucking study to do this.
Oh, there's so much influence.
I'm not against like speedrunners and shit, but at the same time, I find for this game specifically,
Yeah.
I find it extraordinarily disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, beating it in under 3 hours is a trophy, but the thing
No,
is...
just getting through the first three humiliations is not the whole game, just the 3 humiliations.
Got it. But, you can go for a world record on this game, and that's fine. But when you play it to actually play it and explore and try to talk to every corpse and beat every enemy and really soak in every level and every scene and every room and every
Get
part.
every item.
So this is a great game for a completionist because it's so rich and full of stuff.
One of the trophies is complete the game at 100%. I saw that. I'm like, oh, game fucking on.
Yeah.
And I think I put 38 hours into it just to do that. And like, I'm not bragging about it because I'm sure other people have done it faster, but it's like I put in fucking time to do this.
We both have. You put in like you're getting close to 40, something like that. Now aren't you like at 50?
I'm in the 50s, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still in the mid 30s.
Because thing is, like, with this game, to be a completionist and get all the trophies, you have to play it multiple times. Because there are
at least 2 or 3.
Yeah, because there's certain things. It's like, make sure that this guy goes back to his church. And so you do. And then
get all the items for the guy behind the window.
Yeah, and it's like, do that. And it's like, okay. And then the other one is like the exact same guy. Make sure he kills himself.
Yes. There are characters that you interact with who have choices. Totally.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to mention is that there is a very interesting discussion going on in the gaming community about the difficulty of the bosses. Because some people are ranking them in ways that, both you and I kind of found fucking baffling. Like, it's really interesting to see people play this game with different skill sets and different experience as video game players. Say a boss is really fucking hard when, like, you and I play him, and we're like, no, that shit was fucking easy.
Well,
that was one of the smoothest goddamn fights of the entire the entire game.
Yeah, people who say that Quistanzo or Quistance.
Which one?
The fire prison guard.
Oh, yeah.
Say he's easy. One, fuck you.
Yeah.
He's not easy.
Yeah.
It took me forever. He's not easy. He's very difficult.
Yeah.
However, after you've died to him the 13th time, you will start to notice his pattern. And I noticed it way before 13th time. But it's like you have to be so precise with it that it becomes so difficult. But yeah, you have to know his his timing and his pattern.
So,
and if you don't, you're screwed.
Let me tell you what this specific boss fight reminds me of. No shit.
Yeah.
A fucking Mega Man fight. He's like a Mega Man boss.
Yeah.
I think that's why it drove you fucking nuts.
Fucking hated him. I hated him so much. And
yeah, he's a fire boss, and he
see,
constantly throws flaming swords at you, and
does fire
tornadoes. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's I after the 5th time, I started understanding his pattern. And so I would continuously die and just be like, now you're going to do this. And now you're going to do that. And I'm going to do this. And and it was just getting so fucking daunting where I would get down to like half a life bar on him and he'd kill me. And it was just rage inducing. And then once I beat him, I just wanted to like suck up all his blood and just pour it all over me and laugh.
Oh, that's what you do with the very first boss that you fight in the game.
Actually, you literally
do have a blood sacrifice.
Yeah, you you kill him and you slice a huge slit into his body. You take off your helmet and you fill it up with his blood, and then you just put your whole helmet back on your head, and his blood goes everywhere.
So the look of the penitent one is very much derived from the movement of monks and religious zealots, fanatics, whatever you want to call them, of that specific time of Spanish history during the Inquisition and everything. And you can see that a lot of it was influenced by the art of Francesco de Goya.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Goya is a huge influence on this game.
Huge.
There's a March of the Penitents painting.
Yep.
And
they all have pointy hats.
Yeah, the old pointed religious hats.
That's what you look like, but you also have a mask covering your face, and that's what Christiana, the ultimate anointed one, looks like. Even the 3 anguishes, they have that look going on too, and the fucking fire guy.
Totally.
What's his fuck?
Gerardo, or he's the one who always reads the scrolls.
Yeah.
And he has one of those like spiral
wicker
faces that Aja Argento had in fucking La Chesa. It was great. So I mean, there's so much, and this is barely scratching the surface of this game. But
it's a dense lore.
Yeah. There's like more layers here than fucking Dante's Inferno. It's fantastic.
Hundreds of items, and you'll see what all the items do. Yeah. And then you can click lore on the items and get a story from that item, and it can go into the lore of another item, and you put the two together, and you're like, oh, this is the story about the nun who was disfigured and tended to the olive trees.
Yes.
And her tears are the things that kept the olives growing, and then she died, and the olives went away, and then they buried her, and then
God
they came
turned
back
her
to
into
life.
a fucking tree.
Yeah.
And okay, so there's so much in the mythology, and it's absolutely incredible, which is why we say value playing this game to learn every aspect of what it's presenting. Read all the material, talk to every character, including the dead ones, which you can fucking do with the right beat equipped.
Beat the game at 100%, because it forces you to get everything. And if you get everything, you can look at the lore of everything and understand what's going on in Custodia.
Yeah, and for people who are interested in media like dark art, like horror fiction, like alternate reality and religious themed dark fantasy and things along those lines, and even really unique it's very mythology based, but it's also kind of like medieval adventure. There's so much in here.
I wouldn't say medieval. I would definitely say
Inquisition?
Fantasy Inquisition.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, so all of that being covered, let's talk about some technical aspects of gameplay. Let's talk about
I was trying to earlier, and then we just totally derailed.
But there's so much to derail onto. Let's talk about mechanics, and if you want to talk about some of that, let's also get into how items function. Let's talk about the rosary and things like that.
Well, back to
Yes.
what I was saying 20 minutes ago.
Please.
So I hate falling from platforms. I love falling from platforms and grabbing onto another one or jumping and grabbing a ledge.
Yeah.
I love doing that. And this one's it's so solid that you can see it happen perfectly and you can feel the fucking thunk with it.
Yes.
And it is spot on. If you fuck up and don't get that ledge, you know it's your fucking fault.
The development team did an incredible job with the physics of this game.
It is smooth.
And it locks, just like you're saying, that thunk whenever you make a physical action or lock on to a ledge or land.
You can feel the hits that you make. You can feel the thunks of you grabbing. You can feel the thunk of you landing.
Yeah.
You can. It's so good. And
it's not floaty. It's not slidey.
And it's responsive. The second you hit that button, you're doing something.
Exactly. Yes.
Which I hate.
There's no laggy delay.
Yeah, there's no delay.
Yeah.
It's super spot on. And what I love about it is the fact that it is so punishing because it, forgive me, makes you get good.
Yes, it does. I mean, if you're a casual platformer trying to approach this game, you're going to eventually come to a threshold where you have to know how to be a precise side-scrolling gameplay, platformer, basically. This game will fucking fuck you up unless you get really good at doing it.
I'm not gonna lie, this was hard for me.
Yeah, but you fucking went through everything.
I know.
And it made you a better fucking player.
The thing is, I played Sega, which a lot of them are platformers. But even then, I sucked at them, and I still do. But I'm...
It depends on the game, because I've seen you kick the shit out of some platformers, and then I've seen other platformers that you've been kind of not into.
But I'm better at adventure RPGs.
Sure. Yeah.
Like Alice, like Bloodborne, stuff like that.
Yeah, those over-the-shoulder, third-person.
I'm good at that shit.
Totally.
When it comes to platformers, it's so hard. So the fact that I was able to commit to this, because usually I'll try and then get really bored and defeated and I'll give up.
Yeah.
So the fact that I actually was so invested with the story that it forced me to develop a skill that I lack in and got really good at, that's saying something.
So if you tried to tackle some other platformers, how do you think you'd fare after playing this? Do you think you'd
still suck.
You don't want to fuck with Castlevania 3 on the Nintendo?
I've tried I can't play Castlevania. I just can't. I still want to play Symphony of the Night.
I want you to. I'm not going to touch Symphony of the Night until you play that shit.
Yeah, I still want to play that. But I'm going to admit it. I'm better at Bloodborne. I'm better at Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So
goddamn.
I know the genre in which I play, which is why I'm a gamer, but I'm extraordinarily picky.
Yes.
And for me to love a platformer is a little bit unusual.
It's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's this game.
Not even
that's
love
how good
a
this game
platform.
is.
For me to beat a platformer is fucking rare.
And continually strive for that platinum.
Yeah.
Because
I'm still playing it.
Yeah, you're working your ass off to knock out those time challenges because you've done pretty much everything else.
No. I'm still trying to get the guy to kill himself.
Fucking.
Well, it's that one trophy that I've obviously gotten before. Yeah. There's this one trophy where it's if you do it's a righteous repose, where it's if you block and then hit and then execute 5 times, you get a trophy. And I've obviously done it and it just won't fucking activate. Yeah. And I think it's because you have to do it 5 times in a row without getting hit. And I'm sorry, that's yeah. But no, there were some other trophies that that I can get on this run, but I'll still have to do another run.
But you want to. That's what you want to do over the Christmas break.
Yeah, I want to fucking beat this game.
Fuck yeah. So, how does the rosary and shit work? How does the mea culpa upgrades work? Because you don't really level up in this game.
Not really. You usually have to...
Oh, and the mea culpa is your sword.
Yes. You have to go to a shrine, and it's usually it's usually in the middle of a level.
Yeah.
Or after you beat a boss.
Yeah.
Or hidden, because one is hidden, and it fucking sucks.
I found it, you didn't, and you were like, how the fuck did you get more health than me?
And then I found it. No, it wasn't health, that was the swords.
Oh, it was magic, right?
Yeah, no, it was the swords, the health.
Yeah.
Because the Copla
right.
is, like, the shrines for the Copla is just for your weapon. It doesn't upgrade anything else.
When you say the swords, it's the Lady of the Six Wounds, right?
Yeah, Lady of the Six Swords.
Yeah, which is very much like a tarot influenced
very
kind
heavily.
of woman or presence who grants you more health.
But this is like a typical game. You upgrade your health separately, your magic or fervor separately, and your sword separately.
Right.
But for the sword, you actually have to go to specific shrines.
Yes.
And upgrade your swords that way. Mm-hmm. To get more health, you have to go to a woman who has swords shoved through her heart and breasts.
Yeah.
And she gives you a sword for each time you upgrade.
Yeah.
And then
totally reminds me of like the 6 or 7 of swords and tarot. Yeah.
And then for fervor, you have to bust open walls.
Yeah.
And find anointing baths.
Yeah, kind of like holy water.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's no conventional numbering system for leveling up.
No.
You don't have like starting off level 1 and then by the end you're at like level 50 or 99.
Nope.
What you're doing
you
is
just have to gather enough tears to go to the altar and give the tears to upgrade specific aspects of your weapon.
Yes. Basically like vertical attacks, dash attacks, dodge attacks.
Plunge attacks.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting too is that there's a mechanic where if you're running low on health, you have these essentially jars of health that you can use to replenish your health bar.
And then you can find more of those flasks and then find one of like 3 or 4 fountains. There's very few of them and you have to look for them because again they're hidden.
Yeah.
Where there's blood pouring out of a virgin's wound and you fill it up with blood and that's how you get rejuvenating health upgrades.
Yeah. Everybody you basically run into that helps you increase your abilities
is in pain.
Is a fucking damned martyr.
Yeah.
You know? And by damned, I mean like basically committed to an eternity of pain and sorrow and suffering to basically be there for you to profit or, gain.
Well, even the
and then you move on.
Even the rosary knots, you start off with 2 and then you can find more as you progress.
Right.
And you have to find this specific ghost who is in a cage in kind of limbo area. Yeah. I would say.
Yeah.
Who's in internal suffering in limbo, and you have to give her a rosary knot, and then she upgrades your beads so you can have more abilities.
Yeah. It seems like everyone in this world is completely warped, and I'm thinking the term of like having your mind totally brainwashed into believing that their suffering is something that is what they want most in life.
Yeah.
Like, all they want is to be constantly in pain, constantly suffering for the miracle, for God, to benefit the higher order of this religious sect.
Well, the miracle is God, pretty much. In this,
essentially.
So, yeah.
The miracle, when they're talking about the event, is something that God did to kind of corrupt and punish the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now everybody's in pain, everybody's suffering, and that's their entire life.
And they want it.
And you are there to sort of balance that.
Yeah.
But if you get the good ending, you just wind up becoming a sacrifice.
Yeah. And
it continues.
No, if you get the bad ending, which you did, I got the good ending because I got 100% because I fucking worked.
Let's debate that ending, because when you become a sacrifice,
it's good for the rest of the world.
I look at it from a pessimistic and kind of nihilistic perspective that nothing changes and everything's going to stay the fucking same.
When you get the trophy, it says good ending.
It's all perspective.
Anyway,
maybe sinking into the ashes.
We're kind of going a little bit haywall on here. I'm going a little crazy. What else do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about some of the enemies? Do you want to talk about some of the bosses? Yes, I want to talk about the
enemies that you encounter through each level, because they're really, really interesting. Do you want to start with the hop frog guys? And
Fuck the hop frogs. I don't remember their exact name.
The pendulum swinging level?
You know what? Fuck you.
I'm talking about the big, not the...
Oh, you mean the sensor?
Yeah, well, yes. And it's the incense.
Yeah.
Swinging.
And that's the thing about this. So this is really heavily influenced on actual aspects of Catholicism.
Yes.
Actual historical things that happen in Catholicism.
Actual religious practice.
And practices. So I think it's in Spain where they have this sensor that's... I think they said it's like 4 feet tall, 5 feet tall.
Doesn't it hang from like a vaulted cathedral ceiling?
Yeah.
And it swings like 50 feet back and forth.
And it takes 20 strong men to make it swing.
Yeah.
And it goes throughout it goes from one end of the cathedral to the other.
This like giant brass incense-filled smoker that like weighed 4 tons or something like that, they said?
It's an actual sensor. If we can find the video, we could probably put that on our Patreon.
Yeah.
But they took that sensor and made it bigger and put it in this game.
Yeah, and it's one of the obstacles while you're platforming that if it hits you, it knocks you all the way across the fucking level.
And it kills the enemies coming after you.
Damn, yeah. I love how it's indiscriminate like that. Like, if you get in its way, you are fucked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This game has no problem killing its own enemies.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah. It has no problem having its enemies accidentally kill other enemies.
Each other.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I love it.
I don't know if I want to talk about the enemies or if I want to talk about the levels and the bosses.
Okay. So let's talk about the levels, and then maybe while we talk a little bit about the levels, we'll touch on a couple of things.
Okay, so we won't get into all of the levels.
Yeah.
But there's enough of them for us to do this.
You don't want to talk about the crucified?
Oh, no, they're fine. They're little Piedmonts.
They're good. They're early.
What are your top 3 favorite levels?
Ooh. I really like John Doe.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, it's Yondo.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I call it John Doe.
So let's describe it.
So it's part of the 3 it's one of the locations where you can find one of the 3 humiliations.
Yes.
It is a giant bell that is turned upside down and planted inside of the earth.
Yes. It is a giant fucking, like, I don't know, subterranean dark level.
Yeah.
And it is really, really well designed.
And what you have to do is you have to go from the middle of the bell, from one end of the bell to the middle.
Right.
And then go from the middle to either side.
Yes.
And destroy statues to kind of loosen up the little donger bit in the middle.
Right.
And then go back to the middle and then hit it so that you can break the bottom or top of the bell and fall through to go to the 3 anguishes.
Right.
It's an easier level. There's a lot of platforming.
I'll say my favorite aspect of it is the atmosphere.
Yeah. It's an easier level, but it is definitely the darkest.
Yes.
Like actually like light dark.
Yeah. All the background is primarily shades of black and gray.
It's black, gray, and dark blue. So of course we're gonna love it.
My favorite color palette,
of
course. Yeah.
And also it's one of it's actually, to me, the most ominous soundtrack.
I agree because there's a sense of like dark ambience. I'm not gonna say it, goes as deep as like someone like Les Moore's work, but there are moments that really make it feel like you're in an ominous, isolated, contained, occasionally a little claustrophobic. But then it also kind of seems a little industrial at points.
Yeah,
which is really cool, and I like a lot of the aspects of how you navigate.
2 more.
Ooh, all right. I want to say for the first of the 3
well, think of the game as a whole.
areas, I think I'm going to say Yondo is my favorite out of that area. And I don't know if I want to put any of the other 2 because you've got the ice realm, right?
You have the ice realm, which is Graveyard of the Tombs.
Yes. The peaks.
Graveyard of the Peaks. I apologize.
Yeah.
Which fucking.
That's
and then
infuriating as shit.
right after that, you have the Church of the Lady of our Charred Visage,
which is good. When we get to the next area, basically, you've got after the 3. I keep fucking it up. It's not miracles. It's not
humiliations.
The humiliations. After you get to the 3 humiliations, you have to go through 4 more bosses before you reach the platform where you make your way to the Son of the Miracle.
5.
It's 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Probably factoring all of that in, I'm going to say my top other 2 are going to be Mercy Dreams
at the
and
beginning?
The Desecrated Cistern. I thought Mercy Dreams was in the second web.
No, Mercy Dreams is when you go through Albira, and then you go through the abandoned church area, and then you go into that. It's where you meet Tim Pydad.
Okay, so...
And then the cistern is the fucking sewers, and I fucking know you love that part.
I do love that part.
I love and hate it.
I love that part a lot. And what's interesting, too, is that I wasn't expecting that this game would have an element to it where you had to go through a basically poison gas area.
It's a poison gas sewer area. Well, that's also the descent, too.
Right.
Because that's where you get the silver lung.
Yeah, okay. The silver lung, the item that protects you from that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I know you love the fucking sewers.
I kind of do. They're kind of great.
I like it, but it's a fucking pain in the ass. Mercy Dreams, though. Like, are you thinking Mercy Dreams, or is it another area?
I might be thinking of another area, and it might be one of the higher level areas in the second web of levels.
Describe it to me. Is it the one with the ghosts and the librarians? Is it the library?
Not the library. It's one of the like actually higher up on the map where you're platforming. Is it the prison? I think so. I think it might be the prison.
Where you go meet the fire guy and you have the guys who look like Chet and go, ah!
Yeah. but also you have that platforming section where you have the flying seraphim that are the second evolution.
Oh, you're talking about the rooftops?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Fuck the rooftops.
They're difficult as fuck.
No, Mercy Dream is like right before you meet Pin Pydad.
Got it.
Rooftops
Got it.
Fucking suck.
Yeah, I was thinking Mercy Dreams because of the
because we were listening to the soundtrack.
We were listening to the soundtrack. By the way, the soundtrack for this game is so fucking good.
Yeah.
The instrumental Spanish folk themed music, and then the darker, more
ambient.
Yeah. It's atmospheric.
It's a beautiful balance.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
Well, I'm pretty sure neither one of us are gonna say that.
I like the library a lot. I really love the library a lot. I do.
Hate it.
I enjoy it. But the thing is that I can pin down the timing of the ghosts.
And I'm pretty sure that neither one of us are going to choose the canvases.
They're fine. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to see spoopy ghosts popping out of oil paintings.
So, some of my favorite levels,
Yes,
again,
what do you got?
Yondo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great level.
It's really good. It's really good.
I really enjoy the Church of Our Lady of the Charred Visage.
I like it too. I do.
Yeah.
I will admit, though, that it does infuriate me about the pouring oil. Because you have to wait. That is a waiting level.
And it sucks, but
Yeah.
at the same time, if you look into the lore of it, there's a lot of heavy lore in that area because it takes 2 levels to get to that level, and it's all just a huge fucking mash.
Does Our Lady of the Charred Visage have those vaulted room areas where it's really smoky with the incense and you have to jump across a couple of platforms,
Yes.
or else if you fall, you go down like 3 floors?
Yes.
That's
It's
a great
got
area.
that,
That's a really good area.
Where olive trees wither.
Where All Trees Wither is really cool.
Love that level.
Yeah.
And that's another level that's like you have to go through there and then you have to go through Graveyard of the Peaks
Yeah.
in order to get here.
Yeah.
And the whole lore is just this thing about this nunnery, and all 3 levels are extremely interconnected with it.
Yes.
Which is, I think, why I like it so much, because it's the enemies in there are gorgeous and threatening, and it's really interesting, but there's so much lore that goes into this one connected piece.
Let's talk about it, because it's an area of pilgrimage.
Yeah.
It starts with where olive trees wither. It goes to the Graveyard of the Peaks, and then it goes to Our Lady of the Charred Visage.
Yes,
so talk about the women's journey.
Yeah, it's a nunnery, pretty much, where they celebrate the Lady of Our Charred Visage, who's the woman who poured burning olive oil on her face.
Yeah.
Because she felt like she was too beautiful, that it was a affront or offense to the miracle that she was so beautiful. So she
was taking people away from praising God because people started to praise
her beauty.
Yeah.
So she mutilated herself.
And then became a saint
Yeah.
in the process.
And this nunnery is women who, in her name, pour burning olive oil on their bodies to disfigure themselves to worship her and the miracle.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a nunnery full of women who feel like they're outcasts, or who feel like they want to devote themselves to the miracle, but they don't want to go to the Church of Mother of Mothers.
Right.
So
spurned from society.
Yeah, spurned from society. So what they have to do is they have to go through the olive tree garden, and then they have to climb up the mountains that are frozen and it's constantly snowing, and hope they don't die.
Right.
And if they don't die, somehow find this nunnery on the top of the frozen mountains.
Yeah.
And it's an arduous journey. You see many dead frozen corpses on the way up there. And once you get in there, it's cold and warm all at the same time. It's a really interesting feel there.
Yeah, there's fire and smoke everywhere because...
But you know, like, when you are entering, you see the breezeway area, and it's completely open, and it's snow with frozen statues of people trying to get there who froze to death at the doors.
Yeah, and then when you get inside, every one of the nuns has
completely disfigured
themselves, and they're all wearing these cold, expressionless, metallic masks.
Yeah, golden masks.
Yeah, to cover their scarred faces.
Yeah.
So it's very unwelcoming, incredibly dark. It has a type of ominous feel to it that seems just filled with abuse, self-harm, and all of this, horrible stuff. But it's incredibly captivating.
My other one?
Yeah.
The Mother of Mothers. Because it expands everything.
Yeah. Okay. Go into Mother of Mothers.
Mother of Mothers is the church.
Yeah.
It is where
the Church of Custodia,
yeah,
like the biggest.
Yeah, it's
most
where
important.
it's where you go to devote your life and religious practices to the miracle. It's where Escobar lives. It's
Right.
the number one church. It's also the one that has the dictatorship over Custodia.
Yes, because there is very much marriage of
If you don't
politics, rule, and religion here.
if you don't meet the mother of mother standards, you're gonna get killed.
Yeah. Think if the Vatican ruled over the world with the most evil kind of, I guess, grip on society and culture as a whole. If you fucking are on the wrong side of them, you're dead.
I'm not saying anything about that. But it's brightly lit.
I'm just talking about in this world. Okay, we'll move on.
It's brightly lit.
Yeah.
I do have some trouble with it for some reason. And there's some character enemies in it that I just hate. But when you think about the lore of it and just the actual aesthetic, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do too. It's
So
really good. You're right.
We're dragging long. So
Yeah,
last
well,
one. Last one. Who is your easiest boss? Who is your hardest boss? Who's your favorite boss?
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. You go first, because I need to get your input before I try to throw down on mine.
The easiest is hands down the Warden of the Silent Sorrow.
You think so?
The tutorial boss?
Yeah. He's pretty goddamn easy. Especially on the second go-around. That guy was like nothing more than just a regular level enemy.
Second, which is hardest boss? I want to give it to Three Anguishes.
I would say initially they were tough for you.
But at the same time, I fucking slaughtered them.
Yeah.
It's gotta be the Son of the Miracle.
Yeah. And
then my favorite boss.
I want to hear why you say the Son of the Miracle is hard.
Because he's fucking asshole! And then my favorite boss is the Exhumed Archbishop.
Really?
I fucking love him.
Really?
I love the music in that fight. I love the aesthetic of that fight.
You love him poking the stick?
I fucking hate it. But I love the atmosphere. I love how he looks.
Yeah.
And some of his moves are fucking cheap.
Well, we also have the books on all of the priests and saints that were adorned with gold and jewels and everything like that.
Yeah.
So we kind of love that aesthetic. But
he is hands down my favorite boss.
Yeah. He's pretty great. You know a boss that I really like a lot? I really, really do like the snake.
The baby?
Well, not the baby, but the fucking snake umbilical cord with the mom's face on it.
Yes!
That looks like a fucking giant decayed spinal column snake creature.
And that fight's cheap too, because you beat that boss.
And she like spits green glob balls at you.
Alright, so you beat that boss, and it goes away and it starts dying. You're like, yeah, I won. And then the fucking snake tail hits you as it's dying. It's like, you fucker.
Well, here's the other thing too. I love how if you stay in one spot for too long, the baby will grab you
and rip you apart.
And literally rip you limb from limb.
Yeah.
That's amazing
it's
to
so
me.
Good.
That's one of my favorite things. I'll say honestly, the Son of the Miracle, after I got down his hit pattern, was not that fucking bad.
He never has the same hit pattern.
I disagree. I disagree.
You haven't been hit with fucking ray beam tornadoes 5 times in a row.
All right. Let's address that. Let's address the lockup that can happen.
If you get hit by one of these things, you're going to get hit by all of them and you're going to instantly fucking die. That's what he's talking about. It's fucking cheap.
Yeah, so there's a pattern that the big boss has.
Weird note. It kind of also really reminds me of Bayonetta.
Oddly enough.
Yeah,
a little bit. If Bayonetta
was a side-scroller platformer.
Yeah, to a degree. I like that final boss a little bit.
Didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it was fucking hard.
Well, I know it's fucking hard, but I honestly think it could have been a little bit more experimental, oddly enough.
Okay.
But hardest. Ugh, that's a fucking tough one.
I'm gonna take mine back
Yeah.
and say my hardest was Crescenda.
Okay. Remind me of Crescenda.
The one that you have to, the Anointed Legion.
Oh, she's a fucking. Oh, that's a tough fight. That's my hardest fight.
However, she is
that
the hardest.
sucked until we figured out how to
However,
cheese her ass.
Yeah, so she is the absolute fucking hardest. Like I could not beat her. And then I was playing it, and I was like, wait a second, she's not activating.
Yeah,
and I could throw my sword. And I found out a cheese to beat her without even activating her fight.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
And I have no shame in it. Like, if I can't beat you and I can find a cheese, I'm just gonna fucking exploit it. Yeah, that's how I beat Mikolash in Bloodborne.
That's how you're getting good at Super Smash Brothers right now, so.
Yeah. But
exploit the weakness.
I take him back because I can actually beat him.
Yeah.
For her, I had to find a cheese.
Oh god, she's so hard. She's so fucking hard to beat.
And you know, I love me some cheese sandwich. So
yeah. You're all about that grilled cheese and tomato bisque.
I love it.
Yeah. Easiest. Well, I also want to say the fire guy was a tough one until we figured out his pattern.
Yeah.
And we were able to, knock him out. I had my work cut out for me pretty well with the Three Mothers until, we got past that shit. Who are some other annoying bosses I'm trying to think of?
The Lady of Our Charred Visage is pretty difficult.
The key that I figured out with the Lady of Our Charred Visage is actually a style of boss battle that I learned from fucking Mad Monster Party.
Oh my
for the
Jesus.
Nintendo.
And then there's also
because she's totally like fucking the Little Shop of Horrors creature in that game. Audrey too.
There's also the other Anointed Legion that you have to fight, the red guy with the lightning who calls his sister in.
Oh God! Ugh.
I hate him.
Yeah.
And then,
the sister's tough
so
as
here's
shit.
the thing: you have the ability to fight his sister in a different area.
Yeah.
And the first time I did it, she killed me, and then I went back to her, and she wasn't there.
Right.
The second time I played it, I went to her and beat her fucking ass.
Yeah, I remember you beat the bricks off her. That was great.
But you only get one shot at fighting her. Yeah.
The thing is, though, is if you beat her, does she show back up with her brother later?
Yes.
Still. Oh.
The reason why is because in lore, she's dead.
That's right. And he's
still able to talk to her even though she's dead.
Yeah.
So while you're fighting with him, he actually resurrects her spirit.
And his character, he's essentially a soldier for Escobar.
Yeah.
Who is kind of like another brainwashed, character.
He's the
world.
leader. He's the leader of the Mother of Mothers.
He's very much like kind of
Iron Fist.
wants to be heroic and defeat you so you don't
and he's
overthrow the miracle.
He's a fucking pussy. He's so easy
he sucks.
to beat.
He sucks. But then he has sub boss soldiers that were pretty fucking tough. But once I figured out their stuff, it was good. So, yeah, those are kind of my picks, is just kind of going through all them. But, in retrospect, I think the easiest is definitely the first guy.
Yeah.
But overall, this game's fucking fantastic.
We can, keep going on about this, but it's fucking long episode.
Yeah. We've kind of dug deep for you guys today, so we hope you've enjoyed it.
But at the same time, I wanted to dig deep, but leave enough open that you can play the game.
Yes.
And just make your own opinions on it and just experience it for yourself, because honestly, this game is beautiful and the story behind it is, I mean, I can understand how some people are like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, but it's a good fucking story.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
definitely a dark arts story, and it does reflect a light on the negative side of religion and Catholicism, especially, which I know
Sure.
a lot of people like to kind of like stay away from. But I honestly think this is something that you would be interested in seeing because it's fucking fantasy. It's a made up fiction story based on actual things.
Yeah, it's like if all of this became corrupt.
Yeah.
Here's what the world would be like.
We're not saying, oh, this is Catholicism. We're like, this is what Catholicism would be like if it were a fucking even more corrupt piece of shit.
Jesus Christ. But what we are saying is in this world, it is a very, very dark side of things.
And it's definitely worth checking out.
Totally. Yeah, for its
you're-
artistic merits alone. And
Yeah.
if you just like fucking good side-scrollers, it's a great goddamn game.
Yeah. And there's just so much to get into it with it. But
Yes.
like I said, I can get into this all day, but I'm sure you guys are tired. So
Yeah. And, you know, we want to give you enough of what we can bring to the table, but also talk about the fan base, talk about the community involvement. And hopefully, if you haven't played the game yet and you're still listening, maybe you think about going and checking it out because it's really fucking good.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
shout outs.
Shout outs.
You want to start?
Big shout out to America McGee, who just did an amazing on-stream shout for us. And also Chet Zar and artist Christopher Ulrich.
Sorry, guys.
We were just in Santa Monica, and we were there for the Dark Arts Society group show, and it was incredible. We went there for the closing ceremony. We did a live stream on Instagram. We had a blast. We saw some amazing artwork. We got to be a part of the event and have a lot of fun. And we can't encourage you folks to check out the Dark Arts Society enough. If you want to listen to an incredible fine art program, talk show, podcast, and community and movement going into the fine art world and the dark art world, check out Dark Arts Society. It's incredible, and we can't be more than enough thankful to those guys for really pushing this movement forward, because it's because of them and this increase of interest in artists like Goya, Bosch, Bruegel, fucking Zdzisław Beksinski, H.R. Giger, that we wind up with games like Blasphemous.
Well, you stole my shout out, so.
Hardly. I didn't talk about American stuff at all. I just said thank you for talking about what we've been up to.
So, yeah,
Please.
shout out to America McGee with Martin doing Alice Asylum. As
Font Lord.
Font Lord. Yeah, go check them out. We've been supporting American for, 10 years. Minimum 10 years. And
Longer. We've been fans of his.
we've been fans of his, but we've been supporters for even longer.
Yeah. And working with him for a good bit now.
And working with him and been friends and all that. But regardless, he's
Yes.
working on Alice Asylum and a makeup line with his wife. And he also has the Mysterious shop, which has a lot of really cool stuff that you should totally buy because it's awesome. So yeah, give them a check out because I want this game. You want this game. He wants this game. And we should all just be happy. Also, he does the Pirate Jam, which is where people come together and make video games. So if you're interested in stuff like that, check out the Pirate Jam stuff he has going on because it's really interesting about how they actually build this stuff, like indie games. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Totally worth going and visiting. Check out Pirate Jam. Check out Mysterious. Check out Alice Asylum. And for today, I think we'll call it a show. We'll be back again next week with more fun stuff. And yeah, we're the disciples of the miracle.
We'll call it a show. Wow. We're Freaky Fandoms.
Freaky Fandoms. Cheers, folks.